What's going on, everybody? Today I'm bringing you the next account progression video. I'll leave a link to the early account progression videos that I've made before this one. If you haven't checked those out and you're pretty early in the game still, go give those a watch. Oldschool Runescape is such a big game, and the middle section of the game is pretty intense and has a lot of content in it. I'll be making a few different videos on the mid-tier part of the game. This first video will be based on 5 goals I recommend going for pretty quickly and working towards. I consider the mid-game section to be between about 1500 and 2000 total level, and you probably have close to base 65 to 80 stats. You should have or be close to having Barrow's Gloves as well, and completed the easy or medium achievement diaries. Before I jump into these goals, I just wanted to take a second and say that I've started a Discord recently for this community. The link will be in the description below. Feel free to join and come hang out with us. Once you've crossed into the mid-game level, I recommend one of the first goals being to finish the remainder of the quests that you have and go for the quest point cape. This will unlock a lot of content in the game for you, and then you'll be able to focus on other things in the game. Not to mention, it's a great sense of accomplishment getting it finished and getting the cape done. The wiki has a great guide for an optimal quest guide, so I'll leave that in the description below for you as well. Take a look at it, see what quests you've done, and you can check off each quest that you've done, and then you'll be able to move on and see what quests you have left and what'll be easy for you to complete. And again, just an optimal way of doing that, and I'll leave that description below. Hard achievement diaries are the next goal I would recommend that you work for. This is also going to unlock a lot of bonus content for you and things that you're going to have to do. In doing these, you're going to have to do some content like Barbarian Assault, Pest Control, and things like unlocking Bones to Peaches, which will take a lot of time and I'll talk more about in this video later. But you'll get some XP lamps from completing these as well, which is nice to have for the harder skills or skills that you may not like. Also grants you more daily teleports on things like your Arty Cloak, and an easier way to get to Duradel for Slayer task, which will be a huge help and save you a lot of time as you progress your account further. The next thing that I want to talk about is some of the untradeable items that you should prioritize getting. The Fire Cape is one of the best used untradeables that you're going to be able to get at this stage in the game, and you're going to use it for a long time. You get this from killing Jad in the fight caves. I have a link in the description of a great guide that will help you get this done. The Fighter Torso is also a great addition to have because you can save some of the gold that you would use instead of buying like a Bando's chest plate and just use tacits instead with the Fighter Torso and not have to worry about spending that money so you can use it for other things. If you don't have the Dragon Defender yet, this is also another thing that you should prioritize getting. It has a pretty low requirement of having a combined attack and strength level of 130. Elite Void is another good thing to have for some bosses and things that you're going to need for raids later on. It's not too hard to get, it is a little grindy, but it's not terrible and it's definitely beneficial to have. Now, I'm not going to lie and tell you that I enjoyed the Bones to Peaches grind because it absolutely sucks, but it is really good to have for PvM that you're going to be doing. Like when you're in God Wars Dungeon, you use it for a lot. So it's definitely something good to unlock. It is a crappy grind, but definitely worth having. Just power through it, you'll get it done, and it'll be something good for you to have for the later. Knocking out the easy and medium combat achievements can be beneficial for you as well. It's going to help you from having to go back and do them later, but also going to help you learn some mechanics that you're going to need for PvM in the future. You'll get an increase in easy and medium clues for each respected category, as well as a direct daily teleport to God Wars Dungeon. So as you're progressing in the mid-game and God Wars Dungeon becomes something you're going to want to do more and something that's good for money making with friends, it's going to help by having those direct teleports directly to it as well. The last of the 5 goals that I have for you is getting your POH to being maxed. The requirement for maxing it is 86 construction with a combination of the tea in the kitchen and a crystal saw. This is going to be a big GP investment for you, but is totally worth it and well spent. So this is something that I recommend doing before you start buying high-end gear like bandos and arma and so on. I've made a video and we'll link it in the description. It'll also be tagged here for an efficient setup once you have 86 construction. 50 is the bare bones for you to start this layout with the teleports and the first pool, but 86 gives you the best jewelry box, which is super crucial to have. Some of the other videos that I want to make in this series are going to be what gear you should buy and gears that you shouldn't buy right away that may be worth waiting for having a second option that's just as good. And I'll go into more detail on that in another video. Subscribe to the channel to see these new videos that will be coming out, because there's a lot of content for mid-game, and I'll be making quite a few videos in the mid-game before we move on to talking about late game and then end game as well.